Well, what you might expect to be another hot place, Cambodia last time, this time Vietnam, but no, as you see from the introductory footage, we're in Cuc Phuong National Park and it's very dull and cool. So this is an interesting experience, but we're going to look now at number 10 in our series, the covenant and the blueprint. This is Exodus 24 and Exodus 25, and God is trying to make sure that the people who've come out of slavery understand the importance of that relationship with Him. And it would be easy to understand how they might go astray, which is why God says, okay, we're going to have some definite regulations, some parameters to this whole relationship. And Exodus 24 is a record of that solemn agreement, basically the Israelites signing their names to this covenant, saying, yes, this is what we're going to do. Not only what we said we were going to do, we're going to actually have it written down and we're going to agree to that. It's a bit like when we say, put it in writing. Well, God puts it in writing so that the people can understand that there isn't some kind of wiggle room. You could do this or you could do that. And maybe this isn't important and that's not so important either. God is saying, no, because of the situation in which you are, you need to follow the very specific directions that I give you. And it's for your benefit. It's not to please me. It's so that we can have this good relationship, because you don't really understand who I am and what you need to do just yet. So this Exodus 24 experience of writing it all down, Moses reading it all out to the people and having them formally agree to it, is really important in their case, because otherwise they could say, well, we're not too sure. You remember already we see how they go astray in the giving of the 10 Commandments. They go off and they ask Aaron to make a bull calf, and he says, this is the God who brought you out of Egypt. It's bizarre that you had them thinking even like that after such a great experience. Did they see a bull calf? Did they see anything like that? No, that's just an idol. And they have to understand that this is not the representation of God. And then we come to Exodus 25, which begins the description of how they are to worship in what's called the tabernacle. I prefer to use the phrase the tent of meeting, because that's really what it was. It was the place where God met human beings, in this case the Israelites, and there are very, very, very specific requirements as to how this tabernacle is to be used, who is to perform there, and right down to the color of the furnishings and so on, and all the equipment that goes into it. Why? Why does God spend all that time trying to, almost like an interior designer, make it quite so specific? Again, I think it's so that these people can say, yeah, God has said we're going to do it this way, and that is really important. The idea of sacrifice is very much part of the tabernacle service, but I want to remind you of what it is not. These are the words of George Fifield in the notes for this time. Satan has brought it around so that the pagan sacrifice means just the opposite of the true. The meaning of the true sacrifice is this: God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son. Every sacrifice truly offered was a revelation, expression of that great sacrifice by which God was to give the pledge to all his intelligent creatures of all worlds, that he so loved them that if need be, he would give his life to redeem them. But the pagan sacrifice speaks of a God of wrath and anger, whose wrath must be in some way be appeased, perchance by the blood of a lamb, or maybe only by the blood of a fair maid or innocent child, or some other human victim. When he smells the freshly flowing blood, they believe his vengeance will be satisfied and he will be propitiated. Completely and utterly wrong. Let's not make Jesus' sacrifice of himself to us some kind of pagan instrument by which God is satisfied. That is not what it's all about. So let's read Exodus and the sacrificial system very carefully to understand what God is truly like.